Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar. Today, we are going to give you a broad picture of the Finnish education system and also tell you what CCE Finland has been doing around the world. Also, we'll be opening some myths about the Finnish school system that may be in your minds or you've heard, and we'll open them up. I hope this is an interesting time for you, and please be ready to give us questions anytime you feel like it, if some questions raise in your mind. My name is Kari Louhivuori. I'm working with the CCE as a pedagogical leader, and I'm emeritus principal. I worked as a principal for 30 years in Finland and 40 years as a teacher in Finnish school system. Okay, let's go on, Hera. In this picture, you can see the Finnish school system in a whole picture. In the old days, up to the early 80s, or to the early 70s, we had a two-line system where everybody did 4 to 6 years in the primary school, but then it divided into two systems, and in the where you had to pay to go further up in the secondary school system. And this was, Finland found out that it was a very expensive system because we're a small nation. We were only about 5 million people, and a lot of children had to stop going to school due to financial problems, and a lot of very gifted children had to leave school, and that's why a new system was built into the Finnish education system, where everybody has a free education from bottom to top. We have early child education from the ages 1 to 7, and then we have comprehensive primary education from 7 to 16. And you can see the whole idea is that there are no dead ends. After the age of 16, the lines divide to the senior secondary school, which is more an academic line, and then the vocational line. And it's nearly 50-50 students choose, because it's not a question of value that academic is better than vocational. In Finland, they are both praised alike, and that's why students feel free to choose either one, because you can then also move from one line to the other if you feel that it's more suitable for you. In the end of the senior secondary school, there's a matriculation examination, and that's actually the first big exam in the Finnish school system. Before that, there's no big exam at all. Schools have tests, teachers test their students to see how they've learned what they've been taught, but no national testing is before this matriculation examination, and that's the key to university. So after doing the senior secondary school and the matriculation exam, then you can apply to university or polytechnic too. And from vocational qualification, you can also then go on to university due to the vocational qualification exam. And this way there are no dead ends, and there always you can leap from one line to the other depending on how it suits your interest in studying. Okay, Hera, we could go further on from here. And like this, I just told you, everything is free. From primary school up to university, everything is free. Free material, free meal at school, free healthcare, everything is free from this. So in this way, we can get every student to study due to their gift and their interests, and this way no one is left behind. And here I'd like to present to you Heram Kulkarni, who is Director of Strategy of ICT Development and leader of the CCE Finland. Heram, welcome, and nice to have you here with us.
Thank you, Kari. It was, I think, the initial part is that you had given a broad picture. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. We can see that right now live. We have educators, researchers coming from different parts of the society and world, and also we are getting some leaders of the schools coming here, which are joining. So welcome all. My name is Heram Kulkarni. As Kari mentioned that, okay, I take care of the strategy and the international collaboration at CCE. We are actively working on the school development work. And so while developing the schools, Finnish curriculum schools globally, we found some interesting observations. And so today, me and Kari will go brief inside those observations. Since we are getting a good response for this webinar, I think that we should activate everyone in this process. So for activating this part, I want everybody's contribution. So Kari, shall we play a game? A quick game.
Good.
Yes, exactly. So today's webinar is just a discussion and also a game that we will play together. So let's everybody who is online onto the Facebook, YouTube channel of CCE Finland, as well as those who are in the Zoom meeting here, please open your browser of your mobile or PC. Enter the kahoot.it as a link on the browser, and then you will enter the PIN code. The PIN code is 1267283. I will give some time for everyone to join in over there. I hope you can be able to join there. So just enter the kahoot.it, and once you enter over there, you will find a game pin option. So enter the game pin, and after entering the game pin, it will ask for your nickname. So just enter your any.
Please. Game pin.
Game pin is 1267283. Once you can see the screen, you will see this game pin, and also our team, you will send a chat message also about the game pin. I request everyone to mute the microphone so that we can be able to enjoy the clear voice. And whenever you would like to ask any question, comments, please send us in onto the chat window, and then we will open our lines towards the end for a quick discussion. And as well as those who are joining to us from YouTube, Facebook, as well as on our CC's website, please enter your question with the hashtag CCE Finland so that we will take those questions during our discussion as well. I hope we can see that you are all there. I hope that we can see it. Wow, I can see a very good response already. Superb. It's perfect actually. So thank you very much for this. I hope everyone of you can see the screen of the Kahoot window. Yes. So let's try to understand some of the questions. Everyone will get some few time. We will have only 3 questions so that we will just scratch the surface of our understanding, because we really believe that each one of you are very much aware about Finnish education. So we are not here going to tell you something which you don't know, but let's try to find out what is the opinion of everyone in this part. So I'm starting the game. Let's start with a count: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's start the game. let's try to understand what is about Finnish education. So first question on your screen. Which qualities make Finnish society successful? Capitalism, entrepreneurial spirit, or highly qualified teachers, multicultural diversity, or equity, cooperation, and strong welfare programs. Just select correct option on your screen. You will find on your part. Only 4 seconds left. Good. So we can really see the statistics. Very good. So I think we really, yes, teachers are important part. The education is important part, but the society plays an important role in developing the education, and Finnish education is very well connected to society and culture. And the basic cultural fact of the welfare, equity, and welfare programs, cooperation, teamwork are the very important aspects of the Finnish society, which makes things. So thank you for your participation. Let's go for the next question. Wow, so we can see a quite good response. So this is a true or false? The students get no homework in Finnish schools. Is it true or false? Excellent. So, Kari, here is a first myth that we need to break now.
Yes.
Please.
Actually, we have homework in Finnish schools, but maybe not so much as in other countries. The idea is that most of the work is done in school, at school, during the school day, and then for homework there's some small extras to do. If we have language lessons, you have to practice words. In mathematics, you've been learning at school something new, and then the idea is to do a little bit at home so that you don't forget what you've just learned, and do a little bit home practice for that. There is homework, but it's just a comfortable amount, let's say so.
Yeah, true. So I think one of the interesting, because I think there has been a videos going on, or the WhatsApp messages going on around the globe that Finland don't give any homework to the school, but it's not the true. But as Kari said, the main objective of the homework is to refresh your thoughts and reflect on what you have done in the daytime. Yes. So in the evening you go back, and interesting part, and also the homeworks are very interesting as well. So for example, go to the lake, swim, and try to find how much stamina you have. That can be one of the homework. Or try to find nearby area of your house and try to find nearby insects and write a small report on that. So this can be homework. So it's really important to reflect on your thinking, what happens. So that's the point of the first concepts of the Finnish schools. So let's go for so thank you. I think we are having quite a good response again. Well done, Sheena, Mala, Veek, and Green Thumb, and Akshada. Thank you. Let's go with the next question. Now this is an interesting question again. Interesting fact. Teachers in Finland get highest salary, less than national average salary, salary more than doctors and engineers, and more than national average salary. Good one. So This is the really interesting fact you will get to know. This is another myth which needs to be broken as a part that you will see that Finland teachers don't get great salaries. I guess many times when we travel, or even Kari travel across the globe, and when we get the educators from other parts, they ask this kind of a part that, okay, you must be getting best salary more than the doctors or engineers. The answer is no. So let's prove this with the fact as well, so that it will come as a practical way as well. So to make the things practical, I hope that you can now see my screen, where now I'm sharing some interesting data for you actually. In Finland, the teachers on an average salaries for the preschool teachers is around 2,500 euros. But whereas the national average is around 3,594, which is, you can say, about 3,600 euros per month. If you see the doctor salary, it is way beyond, it's very high. And this is the average salary. Even the interesting fact is that the government jobs have better salaries than the private sector in many of the cases on an average. And this is a very typical, very interesting feature. So point here is that the teachers don't have even the greatest salary, but still teachers are committed and teachers are motivated to join, and teaching is the highest profession. Kari, would like to say something about this profession?
Yes, it's been a very popular profession up to these days. We have very much students applying to teachers training. We have, I think it's 5 or 6 universities in Finland which train teachers, and it's always been popular because the reason is that the teacher's profession has much autonomy in itself, so that you can decide very much what you're doing in your work. It's just not about obeying or copying something that somebody from high up tells you to do. And this makes it interesting. And also the school has been a very relaxed environment to work with. I'll just tell you an example that, for example, Finnish teachers are called by their first name, not by their surname. We're not Mr. or Mrs. something. I'm Kari and it's Heram as teachers. And there's a nice communication between students and teachers. And in this way, it's a nice environment to work in. And therefore, money isn't the only question why to choose to be a teacher.
Yes, exactly. So, and even if you compare the Finnish teacher salary as compared to other countries even, so this is the data from the OECD. You see that, okay, I think the font is small because we have to cover many countries actually. But if you see down here, the Finland is in the center with a blue dot here. You see that, okay, Finland average salaries are much, much lesser than that of Canada, Germany, Netherlands, US. Average salary of the teachers. And these salaries are for the 15 years of experience, which are mapped across different countries. So definitely salary is not the reason of the secret behind Finnish success in education. But definitely teachers are definitely one of the important secrets, or teachers training and teachers qualification is definitely, yes. So I think the idea was idea of the playing Kahoot game was to just break some of the myths. So you can leave your PCs apart and let's concentrate here. We are going to maintain the scope of this today's presentation, mainly towards the broad level of understanding of the Finnish secrets. In future, because we know that there will be a lot of questions, and as CCE is working in different parts of the world, there are a lot of questions about different aspects of the Finnish education and how to implement these secrets in your schools, or how to develop these schools in your own country. So we are going to take in step-by-step way, and every month, in the middle of month, we will have one webinar for you. This is mainly for all the leaders, school leaders, especially you are invited. And thanks for joining in good numbers for that. So today we are going to take about from secrets to success, and then next month we will talk about the walking the Finnish pedagogy talk. So walking the talk, and it's a testimony of the one of the principal that we are going to see the how they are doing real-time implementations in the school. Along with that, in the month of November, we will talk about the transforming early childhood education, how the Finnish pedagogy has been implemented in the early childhood education in different parts of the world. So we will have one real-time experience from the one of the teacher and one of the leader of the school with whom we are working, and it's really concrete experience, and she will tell along with my colleagues about how they have transformed the school in step-by-step way, because we don't expect it to jump immediately. It's a very slow process. And then in the December, we will talk about how the school transformation takes place, that how the schools are doing it in their respective countries and respective areas. So we will have a discussion interaction with the school leadership who implement the Finnish pedagogy. So with all our schools, this is a kind of opportunity for us to interact, and as well as we are going to take some inputs even from the other examples, those who are implementing Finnish pedagogy in their own countries. So you are more than welcome to share your experience with us, and we are more than happy to host you here actually. So this is a great expand. So thank you very much for being so active. Now, just as a matter of interesting part here, people keep on asking us that, okay, what exactly CCE is doing? So maybe I will give some brief 5-minute introduction about CCE. So Council for Creative Education is an organization which is come from Tampere in a city of Finland. We have a motto of redefining education through creativity. What exactly we mean here is that how the creative pedagogy can be in the forefront of the school curriculum into the K-12 area. And we are official member of the Education Finland, which is governed by the National Agency for Education of Ministry of Education of Finland. We are really fortunate to work with many of the universities for our research work. And we are also fortunate to work with many of the governments as a consulting projects. Just to name a few, we are happy to have working with us customers from Kingdom of Bahrain, from government of Nigeria, UK Welsh, as well as with the India. We are working within India with the state government of Chhattisgarh, Delhi, Maharashtra, and Goa. We have in this meeting also, we have the principals of our schools. One of the prominent school, the Silicon City from Bangalore, and also we have the school principal of the school of the academy school also. So welcome to the principals, and we work with these schools very closely. Also we have schools in South Korea and as well as in different parts of the world, including India and in the eastern and western part of the world. So we are really fortunate to have our partners like Institute for Information Industries from Taiwan, and as well as the various government as well as non-government organization who supports our cause. This is our spread across the globe, how we work. We have some of the collaborations and university collaborations mainly for the research work. That's exactly what we do, and we are really looking forward to work with many of the schools in the future. I'm hereby really I would like to happy to share the news that in future we will be having the schools developed in almost all continents except the maybe very Antarctica as of now. But otherwise we are been working across different continents for working for the Finnish schools globally. So thank you very much for this part, and this is a brief about what exactly we do. So we have our teacher training programs. We have developing the school concepts. We host the conference on creative education, and we have something unique for the early childhood education work, which is called as the SISU box, which is a Finnish preschool in the box. How you can use the Finnish teaching methods as well as Finnish early childhood curriculum into your schools. It's a concept of the one of the very famous maternity, Finnish Kela maternity box. We have converted it into for the early childhood education as well for the teachers and for the parents in this pandemic as well. So this is a brief work what we are doing. But today we are here for an interesting discussion about the secrets. So in this limited span, we are going to discuss some of the secrets which you can really implement as a part of your work in the Finnish schools. So there are many of the interesting facts are here. So Finnish society is known for its cooperation, for its very unique approach towards equity. The teamwork is really important here. As per the competition, cooperation is more important than the part. We are not going to go into all these aspects because it will take a lot of amount of time, and in future webinars you will see this experience. But me and Kari will talk informally about these parts, and we are going to take only some key secrets which you cannot see directly onto the videos. Actually, if you search those onto the YouTube videos, you can directly get it. And one of the interesting part, let's start with the first secret. And here comes. So Kari, I think the secret is that, okay, how Finland has integrated the skills over the content.
Yes, because like you know, content, the world is full of information, and now that we have smartphones and things like that, we are drowning in information, and the idea is nowadays that you need to have skills to be able to use information, and skills are much more important than content, because you can always find content quickly using these modern devices, but you have to have skills to understand content, to use content, to spread content, and to make yourself new content. And this is why the Finnish education system has made a picture of what kind of a citizen does Finland need in the future. And there you can see it's all about skills: active and innovative, creative and able to exploit their competences, multi-skilled experts and lifelong learners, committed in their community, appreciative and respectful for others, confident and future-orientated, international and multilingual, critical and analytical, interactive and cooperative. So you see, it's all about these different skills to cope in the modern way of life. Content has got a smaller role all the time in this work. And if you, Herab, show the next slide, we can talk more about it. In the old pedagogy, ICT, the teacher used ICT a little bit, skills fairly much, but there was a very big emphasis on contents. You can remember in old school days, learning by heart things. What is the highest mountain in the world? How long is this river? What's the name of the capital of this country? Who was president? Who's the king of this and that? It was full of learning by heart. And what did the student do? He or she was reproducing existing information, and the student was an information consumer. Now, in this new pedagogy thinking, ICT has a very big role. ICT is used to finding information, spreading information, sharing, using it to produce information. Contents, it's in a smaller role in this way, but skills, it's important, has grown immensely, because in this new pedagogy, we're talking about deep learning, using your skills, your learning to use contents critically. Critical thinking is now the word, because like you've seen lately in international news, where they're talking about fake news and fake information. The world is full of this, and we have to teach our students to critically think, when they find different kind of information around the world. And the idea is to the student becomes a producer of new information, taking advantage of ICT, because ICT, you're working together, cooperating together, sharing information, and finding together new information, and in this way producing new information.
Very true, Kari, actually. And actually what we can see as a part of the very interesting phenomenon is that once you concentrate on the skills, then howsoever in the
road cross ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ?
Hello. Yes, I think we request all the participants to mute your microphone. Thank you very much. So we can see an interesting phenomenon as well, is that once you concentrate on the skills first, automatically the content, even if content rise after some time, it is easier for the students to cope with that. This doesn't mean that the Finnish students have less content as compared to any other countries, actually. To be honest, if you want to give the 12th grade examination, and for the chemistry subject, there are more than 11 reference books are there. For mathematics, there are 10 reference books, and each reference book is quite huge. So, and if you see that the content wise, they are doing much more. The reason, because they have learned the skills, learning to learn, how to learn in a self-paced mode, as well as try to understand what is my learning style. And this all comes as a part of this approach. So while we work with the many parts of the world, with the schools, different schools, for developing the schools from scratch, I think this is our first message, or first discussion that we part, that what exactly is the content and what is the skills that we are trying to do. Actually, I was taking an interview of one of the leader from National Agency for Education here in Finland, and he mentioned that, okay, when we start to curriculum reforms, school reforms, way back in 1970s and 1980s, first we went through the entire process that we have too much of content and how we can get down the content slowly. So I think one of the only point was to get down the content low and concentrate on the skills, learning outcomes, and that's the idea. So this is the idea behind that part. Now this brings,
you could actually, Heram,
yeah,
I think a very good example was when you told about your own sons studying in geography, where the skills was the idea and not the content so much. Do you have enough time for that?
Yes, exactly. I think that's an interesting phenomenon, actually. Last year, my son was in grade 6 here in the Finnish school, and actually they were learning about the social studies, geography part, and they were having all together 100 to 120 pages of the big book, actually. And the teacher asked them to write the notes of that book and come to the exam hall with those 1-page note. So idea was that, okay, you are allowed to bring one single A4 size page and write the answers on that. And then the questions were asked, and students answered the questions. Actually, when he came to me, he was writing on the previous day, and he was taking the reference notes from that, and he was trying to improve it. I said, okay, what you are doing? He said that, okay, tomorrow we are allowed to take 1 page with us. I said, are you sure? To the exam hall, 1 page of notes? I was not sure. But then I realized that on the next day, he completed the exam. They came back after a few days. The final outcome of the student, the idea for that exam was not to give the answers, but having a habit of taking the notes. So students who came with the notes, they got better grades, and the students who tried to answer just by thinking or remembering the facts, they did not get the good grades, because objective was not to test the content, but the skill of whether how you can take the better notes. So they give the outcome to the notes and not to the answer paper over there. This is a very effective part. Thanks, Kari, for remembering this part. It's interesting. Yeah. So Now, if we see that if the skills are important here, then accordingly, we should, as an educator, we should have walk the talk. That means our curriculum should be redesigned in such a way that it should speak about the skills. And Finland is very much into this research-based learning for this process. And Finland did the same way. If you see that if there is a management principle that if something is going great, don't change it. Finland was doing really great in 2006, 2009, 2012 PISA test. But still Finland planned that if we maintain the same thing what we are doing in 2010, then we will not going to progress. What does this mean is that okay, Finland changed its curriculum every 10 years or less than that, let's say up to 8 to 10 years. And in that part, Finland planned that in 2012, there was a next iteration of the curriculum, and 2014, the new curriculum was designed, and 2016, it started implementing. And this is a single frame of a Finnish curriculum. So, Kari, can we discuss briefly about this part? These are very interesting competences. So, Finland continued to the work onto the skills and competences as a part of the learning part. Would you like to say something interesting about this curriculum aspect, actually?
Well, the idea was to put together very, let's say, into a packet what is needed, and I think these were very essential competencies that are needed in the modern life. And inside these topics are then put into the subjects in the curriculum where it suits. So this is like a guideline for all studying when you're then diving into the subjects. But you can see here thinking and learning to learn. That's one good example of what this modern thinking is. So we've done a huge leap from the old school when we talk about this kind of things. Multiliteracy. I'll give you another example. That means a skill, for example, to work inside internet. Multiliteral is so understanding the different texts and information coming in the web. Then a very practical one, looking after oneself, managing daily activities safely. These you can see some are very like philosophical and some are very practical things in this plan. So this was a very good guideline when then the curriculum was built when we dived into the subjects.
And yes, exactly, Kari. And actually the basic concept behind this transversal competences, they are not just good to have approach. They are a part of the curriculum. If you read the Finnish curriculum, which is the only document which has been published by the, or let's say which has been authorized by the Ministry of Education under the National Agency for Education, you will get to know in the future what exactly each one do the role. The curriculum has a specific mention that for each of the content, what are the transversal competences are expected, and teachers only follow those guidelines. In fact, it is expected that teachers should be able to read them. It is like a final important document. That is the only part. Finnish teachers don't get the ready-made books from the Ministry of Education, or in fact, they can design their own books. They can design their own content. And this is open free curriculum is a very interesting concept altogether. Another important part, the Finnish government don't give the syllabus. I think you can really see to that part. It gives a broad curriculum, and syllabus implementation is at the teacher's level, not even at the school level. It's a teacher's level job. So teachers have a full autonomy on that part. So that comes the trust and autonomy of the next principles. We will go into the future webinars. We are having a detailed webinar in the month of November, where we will discuss in detail about how this curriculum is implemented at early childhood education And in the December, we'll also talk about how to implement this curriculum at the school level and how our schools in different parts of the world are implementing it. So please stay tuned for that. So let's come to the another interesting secret. Let's cover the next secret. Is the developing the student agency is a very important aspect. If you see the entire process of the curriculum implementation, the students' ability to learn, because in Finland it's believed that okay, a human being is by default learner. We are all learners by birth. We should not be able to ask someone, or we don't need a monitoring example, or we need someone police on us to study. We are by default curious what is happening around the world. That's why the human being got evolved as compared to the other animals. So, but once you go to the school environment, the self-motivation or the curiosity doesn't work actually. And that's the entire objective of the Finnish schools actually, to develop the student agency, how they can be able to work on themselves. And this is with my personal experience. This question comes to me regularly, and I have one thematic answer for that. That what exactly is the real example? What is the difference between a Finnish school and other schools in the rest of the part of the world? Maybe if you see the infrastructure-wise, Finnish schools may not be as great as many of the schools in the world. They are good infrastructure, not part, but that's not the key point. Even as a part of the teachers, or even if you take as a part of the content wise, many other countries are having better content, better tools, better ICT tools as compared to Finland. But there is something which is very interesting as a part of the school and structure of the society in Finland. And I will explain you briefly for that. This is a school concept. Every school have these three important pillars. Any part of the world, you go to school, you will have school administration, maybe a teacher, principals, support staff, people are there who will work as a first administration. Then on the right side, you have some kind of a quality indicators, like you have infrastructure, you have some kind of assessment, you take some kind of examinations, and through which you implement the middle part, which is a curriculum and content. So this is a model everywhere in the world which has been followed. But Finnish schools are not sufficient with this part. Finnish schools something need more than that. And here it comes. So school concept in a Finnish way has these three columns as it is, but it needs something very fundamental below that, under which the entire this model school, the school has been developed actually. The school system has been developed. So first important part, developing a self-directed learning environment. If you see Finnish schools, many times you will see the corridors of the Finnish schools are full of the students' work. And the students' works means that it is not only the work which is the best in the class, but everyone in the school, everyone in the classroom has its own, let's say, authority, or in fact, they can display their work into the corridors or onto the walls. And this is a very unique example which I have experienced, because I do a lot of comparative studies in this area. So here, because the students can see, they get motivated that, okay, last week I did this work and this week I improved my work. Once they see their small painting onto the wall, they will say their creations on the wall. I think, Kari, you have a better example for this, that how the students use their walls in a very creative way.
Well, walls is one. I'll give you another example. I had in my school, we had a school newspaper, or let's say a magazine, and every class had their own pages in this, and every student could write or draw something which would then be put onto that page, and then it would be published so that everybody could read when the newspaper was then, or the magazine was then published twice a year. We had a Christmas number and a spring number. And so every student who wanted, they could write something or draw something, and it would then be put on their class's page and then published for everybody to read. And this was very, for many students, it was very a wonderful experience to see that my little work is here in our mutual magazine. But also we had, because we have also strong handcrafts, we have technical and textile handcrafts. These are also displayed in we have these glass cupboards in the corridors where we can display them, or they were displayed in the classroom, in arts classrooms or in the handcrafts classrooms, so that everybody could see what was going on and what had been done. And in this way, they were a good example for others. Some were more skillful than others, but they were good examples. And also, they could see that my work was also found its place here and could be shown to everybody else what I've done. So it's because I've seen also when we've been traveling around the world that in some countries, even teachers put their works on the wall, or then only the best works are on the wall. But here the idea is everybody. Well, it's very typical Finnish thinking, very democratic thing, and everybody is honored and everybody is important. So corridors are in this way a very important place of the school.
And these are the ideas. Actually, we can't copy as it is. Actually, we all are of very much of the very strong opinion that we can't copy these ideas as it is, but we have to contextualize it, try to find what exactly works at the local level, how the local context and local culture works. And based on that, in the future webinars, we are going to give some examples and case studies, some successes and as well as some failures. We don't see that, okay, everything is going to work in a very smooth way. We don't expect that. We have our own share of success and failure. So we are going to honestly discuss them so that we all can learn through the process actually. So the idea of this developing the student agency is really important in Finnish schools. And to develop that, we need a strong teachers who knows the pedagogy, who knows the pedagogical framework behind that. So these are the very important blocks. So if you take out these two blocks from school, we don't see a Finnish school. So this is my simple interpretation that what are the important ingredients of the Finnish schools and how the school concept is developed. You will have everything else in like apple to apple comparison, you can do it. But these two things that you will find very interestingly, and this requires a good research-based teacher training, and which requires the overall understanding of the philosophy of education. That's what has been the important aspect of the Finnish part. So this was the, oh, okay, sorry, I think, yes, okay, now I just moved myself a bit faster, sorry. Okay, so here it comes. Okay, so third secret was the student agency. Now the fourth secret, and that's what we briefly discussed earlier as well, are the teachers and trusting the teachers, trusting the schools and so on. So I want Kari to explain exactly how the school system works.
Yes, the idea, we have three levels. The national level, which is we have the Council of Education, which is gives the national core curriculum. Education acts and decrees are given in the ministry, and educational policy guidelines are developed, and development plans for education and research are on the national level. For example, I had, during my 40 years of work, I had never anything to do with the Ministry of Education. It was so high, somewhere far away. Sometimes I had something to do with the Council of Education, which is the lower level of national government. But the middle level local authority, that's where I worked as a principal when my school was working. In the local authorities, the municipalities, there's the strategic leadership and the management decisions of the local curriculum, organization, resourcing, monitoring, and development of local efforts. So that the idea is, because we don't have private schools, we have only public schools. So usually in one municipality, there's a school office which controls all the schools in the region or in the municipality, in the city, in the town. So schools communicate with the school office of the municipality, and there we get funding from them, and then the superintendent or someone, we discuss with them what's the municipality's strategic management decision of the local curriculum. But then very much independence is in the school level. In the school, the principal has the pedagogical leadership goals leading the developments of the school culture, realization of the school-based curriculum. So when the national curriculum is built on the national level, then the municipality gives its local picture to the curriculum, and then every school even writes their own pages to the curriculum, giving their typical topics. For example, some school is interested in using nature in their teaching very much. So then that's written into the curriculum. Some schools have very much emphasis on arts and music. So that's written into the school level of the curriculum and emphasized there. These are just small examples of how it works. Maybe this is enough for me this one. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. So I think you see that the kind of responsibility and accountability teachers are having here in this case, it goes provided that there is a trust in the system and the teachers are having trust. So government trusts the cities trust the schools, principals and schools, and the school trusts the principal and teachers trust the student. So it's a very, very symbiosis. You can't have only one person trusting others and others are not reciprocating. So this is a very important part. Now the bigger question comes that, okay, is it really important to know all these things for if I want to develop my own Finnish schools? The answer is yes, because this plays an important cultural shift into your school. And that's what we develop this entire process. How we develop the bottom-up approach instead of top-down approach. In many of the schools across the globe, we see that there is a one principal or one leader who starts the work and then everybody follows part. But it's a different way, and Kari is one of the example for that. So we are going to talk about how exactly this works in practice.
And Hera,
yeah,
don't forget the inspectors.
Yes, exactly.
In many countries, there's even these the ghost called inspector who comes to spy what's going on in the school, and then there's this funny act going on during the inspection. Everybody is doing something. It's like a big theater, and then when the inspector goes away, then normal life goes on. Everybody breathes again normally. We don't have the inspector system because our accountability comes from the trust that everybody in the school, when you're trusted, then you do a good job. And it's so the system is transparent because parents see all the time what's going on in the school. Staff discusses together, classes with open doors. Teachers see what's going on, what their colleagues are doing in their classroom. They discuss it together. Principals move around in the school, seeing what's going on in different classes, and they discuss together. So trust comes from transparency and given freedom to do your profession in the best way you think it can be done. And in this way, you don't need any inspectors, somebody from outside, and then everybody being afraid and obeying or something, because you know what what you have to do in your profession. You've got the curriculum, you've been well trained, so you don't need anybody from outside to do this.
Exactly. And actually, when we work with the schools across the different countries, we really emphasize on this point very much. And we have seen the outcomes of that. How by giving the autonomy to the teachers, how they really transform the process. You will see one example in the month of October and as well as in the month of November for that. So my colleague will take you through one of the entire process, how we started from the early childhood education with one of the school, and actually we have the principals of that school also working with us actually here right now. They are also available here. So I think you should join for the next webinars also in this process. So to take this forward, there is one more interesting secret which comes here, and that is that how you develop the leadership. And Kari will speak about his experiences and why he came with this entire process of shared leadership.
Right. Well, the idea, I could say in a funny way that I've been a very lazy person. Well, it's an easy way of explaining it. A better explanation is that the school is full of work, and the principal is not an expert alone. School staff, because we have highly trained teachers, we have lots of experts in the school, and that's why we had to get all the experience and expertise from the staff to be used for the benefit of the whole school. And also because there is so much to be done in the school, we need a system, an organization where all this expertise is used, best got to use. And there we have built in many Finnish schools shared leadership. This means that we divide the staff into smaller teams where every teacher can then bring his or her expertise to the use of the whole school. And if you show the picture of one model of an organization, here, for example, this was one model that we used in my school. The idea is that the staff is divided into smaller teams who specialize in some topics that are important for the school at that moment. ICT was coming very strongly into everyday teaching, so we had one team which specialized in how to use ICT pedagogically in the school in everyday learning and teaching. And this team was formed of teachers who were interested in ICT, and they would then train other teachers in the staff. They would have afternoon classes, or they would go into the class together with the teachers and help them, support them in the classroom. They would also follow a discussion from other schools, what's going on in different schools, how ICT was used, and spread this information into our school. Curriculum, like Haram told, the Finnish curriculum is changed every, let's say, 7 or 8 years, is it so? And we needed also some teachers who were interested in working with the curriculum, who would then work in writing what is the school level in the curriculum, and they would discuss together with the municipalities, curriculum workers, and then bring the municipalities curriculum to our school, and then write the school level of the curriculum. In my school, we had very many multicultural students. We had over 30 mother tongues in our students. We had much international students. We had refugees. We had families coming to study in Finnish universities. We had international companies who had workers, and their children were in our schools. We had new Finns who had moved to Finland for different reasons, mixed families, for example. And so we had a system of how to support these children whose Finnish language skills were not very good yet. We also had a very strong special education system in our school to support children who needed extra help in their studies. Like you know, in Finnish schools, we have early intervention when we have learning difficulties. So there, one team planned how multicultural support and special education support was implemented in our school. Welfare, that means all teachers' welfare and students' welfare. So they planned all kinds of different events during the school year for the refreshing in between learning days, teaching days. We could have sports days, we could have nature days, we could have all kinds of different themes going on to do something different away from the normal everyday teaching. Students' participation is a very important thing. We had our students' government, we had class government, we had participation so that the voice of the students would be heard in school planning, learning, and all kinds of activities in the school system. And there was always a leader in the team, and the team leader was part of the leader group, which was the heart of the school management, let's say. You know, if you have a staff of over 50 or 60 teachers, it's impossible to have a good staff meeting where everybody's voice would be heard during a meeting. And that's why these teams were also one part of sending information. If the leading group had information, had to be spread to the staff. So it went through the team leaders into the teams where they could be discussed inside the teams. And then we would get feedback from the teams back to the leader group. In this way, it was top to bottom, bottom to top information moving around inside the staff so that everybody's voice could be heard if needed. So this was a very effective way of leading a school. And of course, these topics of the teams depend on what are important things going on in the school year in your school at that moment. And there you build these teams to help organize and get things done in the school. It's easier to plan when you are 5 to 6 or 7 people doing it together, or then in a 60 people's staff meeting where nothing goes forward. So we were very satisfied with this sort of organization.
Yes, so I think these are the very important aspects, and this is one of the secret behind how to lead effectively and how to lead pedagogically and getting everyone together. So this is this ability or this kind of freedom is available with the principal and teachers to experiment. Nobody is there to, and this once you have a freedom to implement trust, then you can keep on experimenting this, and that's the important concept behind this entire part. But it is not easy that you should be able to do it. You need to have hard practice for that. So Kari conducts one course, me and Kari conduct this course together, leadership course for the pedagogical leadership. So this is a very interesting course of the 3 months. Kari, would like to say some few words about this course, what exactly we do in this?
Well, the idea here is to concentrate on leadership, because leadership is a problem that in many schools, the problem is that when there are problems in teaching, principals go and start doing the teacher's work, mixing up into the teaching work and forgetting that they're not teachers anymore, they're principals. The school needs leading, and that's one problem, and we are focusing in this course on the leadership, so that the leader, the principals, they understand what their job is and how to do it. And we focus on different leading profiles. We do discussion in those people who have been already doing principal work, what problems raised from this, and discuss different resolutions, how to resolve these problems. We also talk about learning environments and these kind of things, because organizing also environments, there are lots of things that can happen, and how you can change learning inside your school in this ways. It's a very interesting course where we get together and discuss leadership, because it's not an easy thing. I can tell you, after 30 years of doing it, you learn every time you meet another leader, another principal. You always learn through discussion, because there are so many different aspects in this leadership.
Yes, exactly. And I think the how to define your personality and how to match your personality as a part of leader, actually. So this is the entire process. Reflecting on our personality is also been practiced in this course very well. So I myself, I have been this part of the transition altogether. So, and I learned a lot, even for others, actually, from others, because in this particular course we get the leaders from different parts of the world, and they are all the principals or the coordinators from the schools, and it's a great experience of sharing their knowledge as well. So we have some of these examples with us. So today we discussed about 5 secrets at top, but still there are few more remaining. There are a lot of secrets are there, but we are not been able to cover all the secrets today. So idea here is that to go with the top secrets, and then come back in the next webinars with few more ideas and few more secrets. Today we had a very good response from all parts of the sectors or from countries. So thank you very much for that part. In the next webinars, which we are coming up with this maybe 5 more secrets in the month of September. In the month of October, and few more in the month of November and December. So you will understand how this will go further. So my request to you is that please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please like our CCE Finland webpage, Facebook page, and you will be able to get these regular updates. So thank you, Kari. Today it was a very interesting part, and now we are keeping.
Thank you all for being with us.
Yes, thank you. So we are keeping only we will have just informal talk for a few minutes, and then we are going to formally close the discussion. Thank you very much. Those who are joining from the YouTube and Facebook, we can see a tremendous response for that. And one more important announcement that I have to do here, because actually I'm trying to invite actually Mrs. Achala Verma from India, Rajasthan. She has been working with us as a principal of one of the important school there in Birla Balika Vidyapit Pilani in Rajasthan, and she has been a participant of many of our courses for last many years, and we are honored that she has got the President Teachers Award, President Medal at the national level with the help of at the hands of Honorable President of India. So I would like to congratulate her, to Mrs. Achala Verma, for her success. It's really great to have you with us, and we are really proud of you. And you are very experimental, and you do a lot of innovative things, and we would like to get benefited because of your experience as well. So thank you very much with this. I thank you everyone, and it's a great to have you all here.
Yeah. Kulkarni ji, can I just have a small question?
Oh yeah. Sure. We can just we'll have some maybe 5 minutes of discussions. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I just wanted to know if there are any options for the students for an early graduation. If I can put the context, generally in the large classrooms, it is the small number of highly brilliant or highly active individuals consuming all the oxygen, and thereby giving no chance for the rest of the students to participate in the classroom environs. So is there any chance or the opportunity for the those who are very active to graduate earlier than the scheduled periods of the schooling.
Maybe Kari, you can share your experience if you have any, and then I will come back as well. Yes.
In the Finnish system, very seldom is it that somebody advances quicker than the normal system. The usual thing is that the teacher divides the classroom into different groups then inside, and these advanced students, they get more advanced works to do and different things. So in this way, we give them more work and more interesting things so that they don't, let's say, disturb the slower ones. But it's very seldom that somebody, like, let's say, goes a quicker line through the system.
Yeah, true. Actually, once you see the Finnish curriculum, you'll understand that you need to be super perfect to graduate to the next level, to be honest, because there are multiple transversal competences are there. And let's say when you say, okay, that you are super perfect in mathematics or in languages, but you need to be super perfect as a leader as well. Maybe you need to be also super perfect as a team player as well. So because it's based on the skills, if somebody says that, okay, that I'm done with mathematics, but that do not mean that, okay, you have completed many other skills which you require as a part of team. And Finnish society works on the team level, because I have experience here in Finland of working in the corporate sector as well as in the education sector as well. I can definitely tell you with my own experience, even at the corporate level, there are no concepts of very high bonuses or like performing to the best of the life and then getting the best salary. It's about the team. So even in the schools, the entire class graduates to the next level. And this is the concept of equity. That's why also in Finnish schools we don't have these grading systems, and we don't classify the students as the best performance versus worst performance. We know as a teachers, maybe teachers know it very well that, okay, who is doing good and who is doing bad. But that's not the notice board example. Like, we should not put that. Am I right, Kari?
You're quite right with this. Yes. The idea is that like you said, hardly ever any student is good in everything, and they have always something to learn. And that's why a good teacher can always give new goals for the students to learn, and in this way give them more, show their efforts, new efforts in more advanced tasks to work in, and therefore there's no need to let someone jump into the next grade earlier than others.
Yes, true. Thank you for the question, Mr. A.N. Ramachandra. Actually, Mr. Ramachandra is very active into the education domain of India, and he's a well-known educator and the leader of he works with the government and quite a well-known. So thanks for joining today, actually. Yeah. So also one of my colleagues is also like, I think it's good to that, Miss. We have good educators working from different parts of the world. So one of our educator, Rosa, is also joining us today. Hi, Rosa. And we have Simran Balani, then we have Dhanika from India, we have Nandini, we have Samir, then we have Shirin. So everyone please apart. And also we have today honor of having the principal of Silicon City also here with us, Sumalini ma'am. Great to have you here. So with this part, thank you very much for everybody's participation, and we close this formal part. And please contact us for any of the questions, and we are looking forward to have. Hi, Rosa. Great. Nice to see you. How are you doing?
Thanks.
Yeah, Rosa.
Thanks
it
for
was
today. It was excellent to hear again, like to learn more. Like each time when I hear about Finnish education, I'm catching something new, and sharing your experience is also another way of learning. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you very much, everyone. So looking forward to have you here, and we will stop at this moment. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.